360 flips, the hardest trick in the world until you know how to do them. I'd say two prerequisites to learn before the 360 flip are those little shove-its, not pop shove-its, but just a regular shove-it where you use your back toe to kind of scoop the board around. That'll help you with the scooping motion later on. And also a kickflip will always help so you can know how to flip the board. Also, you could learn varial flips if you want, but I don't really think they're going to help that much. It's not really the same kind of scooping motion. It might be kind of a similar flick, but it might actually mess you up, so never mind. So there's three main parts to the 360 flip. There's the scoop slash pop, the flick, and the landing. So first off, foot placement. This trick is, I would say, 80 to 90% of your back foot is doing all the work, and your front foot it flicks a little bit, but it's kind of just there to get out of the way and let your back foot kind of scoop the board around. So the foot placement for this trick is your back foot in the back toe side pocket with your toes kind of hanging off a little bit. You might want to do more or less depending on how comfortable you are, but to start off, I'd say a good inch or half an inch, and that'll help you get the scoop. For your front foot, you kind of want to set it almost exactly like you would a kickflip, but if you're just now learning these, it may be a little easier for you to hang your foot a little further off the edge of the board, and that way you can get a faster flick. So just to reiterate and emphasize, your back toe, you want to put it in that pocket. You don't want to put it on the tail like you would an Ollie or even a kickflip, because you're not going to get the rotation for the 360 flip. So just watch where my foot is and slide it over into that pocket. And that's what's going to give you the scoop. To start off getting the feel for the kind of scoop you're going to do for the 360 flip, I'd say start off by standing on the ground with your board in front of you and just using your back foot to put in that back pocket and give it a nice push and scoop kind of towards yourself to try and make the board turn 360. Don't really worry about the way it flips or anything like that. Right now your goal is to just get that scoop down and make the board rotate. The next step would be pretty much the same thing, except now you're going to add your front foot to the mix. So just stand on your board with both feet in that foot positioning I mentioned earlier, and do the same kind of scoop motion that you were just trying with one foot, except jump off your board and just let it go wherever. But the goal here is to try and get the 360 rotation, mainly using your back foot. And just for the third time to hammer it home, put your back foot in that pocket for the scoop, for the rotation, because if you don't, you're going to end up with something that looks like this, which you get a lot of flick to flip the board over, but not enough rotation. So watch when I put my foot in the pocket and I get the rotation. So with your front foot, it's going to be not quite like a kickflip, because with a kickflip, I feel like you put a lot of energy and effort into your front foot to give it the flick to flip the board over. But like I said, this trick is mainly in the back foot. So once you scoop the board, your front foot is going to kind of come forward and off to the side of the board, and it gives it a little flick in the process, but it's not really what you're focusing on. So when you put the two moves together, the scoop with your back foot and the slight flick forward and off to the side with your front foot, the board should get a pretty good rotation and flick. If it's over rotating, then maybe pull your toe a little bit closer in and not so far off the edge of the pocket. Or if it's flipping too much, maybe do the same thing with your front foot, bring it a little further onto the board and less hanging off. And I'd say practice getting the rotation down now with both your feet, the rotation and the flick. Don't worry about landing with both feet yet. Just get the board to flip around. And once you can do that, then you're basically almost there. So for the last third of this trick, once you've popped your board and scooped it, you kind of gave it that flick, the board rotates. The next part is you have to land on it. But in order to do that, you're going to have to jump and keep your weight over the center of the board. Now with 360 flips, since you are scooping the board, it kind of has a tendency to go forward in front of you. And to compensate for this, when you're jumping, you kind of want to jump forward along with the board, and that way you can keep your weight over it. The main thing is to focus on the board where it's going, and it goes pretty fast, but once you see the grip tape, you should be able to tell where it's at and put your feet down. A lot of times this is made easier because when you're first starting them, they don't really pop too high. It's more about the speed of the rotation. So they should land on the wheels kind of for you. Even if your feet don't get there to catch it, it should land with the grip tape facing up. So just to go over everything really quick, you want to pop your tail, but also mainly give it a scoop with your toes hanging off in that back pocket. You scoop it towards yourself like you're doing a little shove it. With your front foot at the same time, you're going to be kind of just giving it a tiny little slide up and off the board, not focusing too much on the kick, but more of just getting your foot out of the way. Then after you've jumped and done these with your feet, you move your body towards the board, which is going to be a little bit in front of you most likely. And once it's done its full rotation, you put your feet down and land. So here are a few 360 flips. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you focus on my back foot and kind of the things I said, you'll see that scooping motion I was talking about and how you kind of use your toe in that pocket to give it the rotation and the flick. And my front foot, you can kind of see it does do a tiny flick, but it just is mainly getting out of the way and letting the board do its thing. And after that, it's just putting your feet down and riding away. So I hope this helped you in any way, and if it did, then I'm happy, and let me know, comment below. And also, if you have any requests for trick tips, let me know. I'm always happy to do them. It does take me a little while to make them, but I'm trying to get on that better, so just let me know, and you can like and subscribe if you want.